All right, guys, so today we're at Augusta Distillery with Alex Castile. I'm thankful that you had us out today. I appreciate you taking the time to see us.
I'm glad y'all made the drive. I know we're
It's a ways out
yeah,
here.
we're not the easiest place to get to.
No doubt. Well, we're really excited. I mean, I've been following you for a while, so I've tried several things that you've put out and been very pleased, to say the least, with everything that I've tried. So,
thank you.
Really looking to learn a lot about Augusta today because I've had different things from them. So you guys distill and source, is that right?
Yep, so most of what you see on the shelf today is sourced,
Okay.
But we started filling our own barrels about a year ago.
Okay. So maybe what, 5-6 years we see something?
We're still at least 7 years out.
7 years.
7 years.
Okay. Well, we'll stay tuned for that.
All of our production tours start in this room,
Okay.
and it is where we like to kind of honor the history of the building. The front building you walked in when you got here was built in 1904. It's the oldest building on site, and then each building behind it was added on over time. But we used to be home to the F.A. Niter Company, so they did originally carriage parts. But then as carriages went away, they then moved to car parts, and so you can see fasteners and just different details that you would see in a car. We've got handles that were from carriages, and they were actually here. They were one of the biggest employers in Augusta for a long time, and they occupied this building until 2008. So they were pretty long-standing business in town.
You can definitely tell it's a super old building, can't you?
And you'll see as we walk around, we did our best to honor the original structure.
Absolutely.
And keep as much of the original intact, but also visible. And of course, historic buildings pose their own unique challenges. You'll see when we get back in production, we have some very fun height issues. There's a lot of crawling under tanks, and
Really?
like you and I are good height-wise. You would struggle on the team. Yeah, we joke operations. I have to hire short, thin people, and then the warehouse team needs the big, muscly dudes. But somehow they end up with the short, scrawny ones, and I end up with the big guys. I don't really know. Yeah, all this stuff was left in the building. A lot of what's in that case is actually in the safe. Safe is original. It was here when we bought the building, and it was actually locked. 2 ladies came in to check out the building because they had worked here, so they were curious about the work we were doing. And when the crew pointed out the safe to them, they said, "Oh, I bet their manager would remember how to get in." And so they called him. He came out. They said it took him about 2 seconds. It was like he had just opened it up the day before.
Wow.
Yep. So no gold bars, no money, nothing like that, but
Not even any old whiskey or anything.
no, just a bunch of buttons. I mean, you can even see how big the building was at one point. Yeah, fortunately, we are just far enough back from the river that we aren't typically in danger of flooding. We are still technically in the flood zone, so we did have to build all of our pumps up on pads as a, but because beginning of this year, center of town, if you guys go to the pub or whatever for lunch, that entire street was water. Their basements got flooded, and I think we probably still had about 6 feet before we had to be concerned, which if you think about a river, 6 feet's actually a lot. Unfortunately, it never even cut us off from truck traffic because trucks can't come from that part of town. They have to go down by the berry plant and loop around, and somehow that road never never flooded. Two 2,800 gallon mash tubs. They're essentially identical. We have one mill, it'll feed both of the mash tubs. Currently we're doing a mash bill of 75% corn, 20% rye, 5% malted barley.
Okay.
But all we do here in Augusta is Kentucky straight bourbon. So no rye whiskey, no wheat whiskey. We're talking about doing a wheated bourbon. We're talking about toying with a higher rye mash bill, even higher than our 20%, but always bourbon.
Y'all have distillate we can try?
Oh, the stills are running.
Awesome.
Stills are running, so we'll be able to pull a little bit off of there.
Nice.
Absolutely. If you guys want to follow me up the stairs,
Right on.
watch your step.
It's like a grand cathedral stairway.
We definitely spent way more on those stairs than we probably should have. But
Little
we wanted the amazing impression you get when you walk in. So, and then of course we also had to make sure it was waterproof and all of that too, because my team, when it comes to spraying with hoses, they're not very accurate. So we're doing about between 5 and 6 mashes a day. So each of these are going to do 2 to 3 a day, and each mash tub then feeds 9 fermenters for a total of 18 fermenters. But each mash is about 6.5 hours start to finish.
Okay.
And once it's done, we then transfer to one of our 18 fermenters. So at Augusta, we believe in doing bourbon the way it's always been done, being as traditional as we can. Obviously, we have done automation, so we are embracing that. But we mill our corn, all of our grain, based on standards set years and years and years and years ago. There's a book that floats around. It's called The Blue Book. It was written by Seagram's, their Lawrenceburg, Indiana facility, now MGP. And that book is the Bible for whiskey production. And so we follow it. So we follow its recommendations for grind on our grain, 72-hour fermentation. So long enough to get all of the sugar converted, but not letting it get too funky. A lot of people are trying to do faster fermentations right now because faster is more money, right? We don't want to do that. We want to be traditional on it. So we stick to 72-hour fermentations, and at the end of that, it goes, yeah. It's an active one, because you can even feel it's got some pretty good heat going on it as well. So basically, in the year, we've got our grain, we've got our water, and we have yeast. So the grain, corn, start it with starch. In the cooking process, we convert that starch to sugar. Yeast loves sugar. That's what it wants to eat. And so during the 72 hours that it's in here, the yeast is consuming all of that sugar, or hopefully all of the sugar, and it's producing 3 things. It's producing alcohol. So our main goal. It's producing CO2, which is what you're seeing, and then it generates heat. And inside the fermenter, we actually have cooling coils, because while yeast generates heat, it actually doesn't like heat. It puts too much strain on it, and it can mutate and kill itself off. And so we have cooling coils that are controlled by the computer to help maintain that healthy environment. So water is city water, but all of it is treated at the very least through a water softener, because here in Augusta we have some of the hardest water I think I've ever experienced. So we do treat everything with at least a softener, but we also have carbon filtration tanks as well as RO.
Like a big old pot of oatmeal. I need a bowl of that right now. I'm that hungry.
And then that's a brand new fermenter, so it hasn't even started fermenting yet, so that's why it just looks like water essentially.
Crazy that ends up being something that we like to drink, right? Looks like old pond water.
Yeah. Yes, it does not look like something you should be consuming at any given time. And then you can see the cooling coils, and those they allow for a healthy environment for the yeast. And these are going to be our oldest fermenters. They'll be the next ones that get transferred to the beer well for distillation.
Awesome.
So in the early days of Augusta Distillery, they wanted to solidify their identity. Who were they going to be? What was the brand going to be? And they settled on Kentucky straight bourbon, single barrel, cask strength, and nothing under 8 years old.
Sounds like my dream. Like that's perfect lineup for me, but that is costly as a business.
It is costly. It's very niche, right? Like we don't have a lot of wiggle room. Not every barrel is perfect, so we have to then get really creative on what to do with that. But yeah, that was just that's the flag they planted however many years ago, and that's what we're sticking with.
I like it. I'm excited for the next 7 years to get going. That just means I'm gonna be much older though, Alex.
Trust me, the day we filled our first barrel, the president and I both just looked at each other and you could tell we were doing the math on how old we were both gonna be when we could finally touch that barrel.
Right.
And that's only our youngest product. I really don't want to do the math on a 15 or a 17-year-old.
That's right. When you do the math on some of the distillers, I don't think there's hardly anybody who'll ever be as lucky as Jimmy to have laid down that much whiskey and see that many 15 to 17 years.
Not
like
anymore.
He's seen that 3 or 4 times, right?
Yes.
You're lucky if you see that twice.
How many facilities has he seen? And
Right.
Yeah.
So crazy. But a normal distiller laying down new juice and seeing it get to 15 years, they may see that 2, maybe 3 times.
It's also rare for people to get into distilling as young as he did. Most people recognize the name that is on that beam if you can read it. Carnegie.
Oh, wow.
So the Carnegies got their fortune in steel. That's how they started. And I'm sure we've all been in buildings that have Carnegie steel in them, but you never
didn't even know it.
You never get to see
exposed,
it.
Right?
And so it was important for us to make sure that you could see that.
Y'all should get a marker and highlight that.
Oh, it's everywhere. Once you know it's there, you see it on every beam. But it's on almost every beam in the building. And I think we've gotten so far removed from that history that people sometimes forget that's where they got their money. The Vanderbilts were railroads, Carnegie steel, and it's gonna be warm in here. So
warm.
It's just, be prepared because we are running and we have been running. So thankfully it's not sunny out. We definitely didn't think it through when we designed this room. We essentially built a greenhouse that generates heat. So we have 2 14-inch column stills. In theory, they're identical. They do not run identical. They actually behave differently, which has made it super fun. And then each of those column stills feed a doubler apiece. So we've got 2 doublers. And the 2 columns and the 2 doublers, of course, each have their own spirit safe, like the centerpiece of the room. So Augusta is a river town. We're very, very proud of being a river town. And so we wanted our spirit safes to show that and represent that. So you see the paddle wheels. We actually have images of a flatboat and a paddle boat. The crowns are like the steam crowns on a steamship.
Right, very nice.
And all the paddle wheels do spin. They're oversized for our equipment. So if you guys want to come over, you can stick your finger in and get a little taste. This is high wine, so we're talking about 130 proof. This is coming off of doubler number 1. Get on over here.
That is so good. So sweet.
Yep.
Corn sweetness, right?
Yeah.
Put that on a little ice and I'll just drink on that all day.
75% corn, you're going to get some sweetness off of that, right? But that should translate really, really well in the barrel. And it's not about 130.
Everyone you go to, everyone's...
But it's been fun to watch spirit safes evolve, right? They started because we actually used them as safes. They were locked. That's how we paid taxes. And then in recent years, it's kind of become a competition amongst distilleries to see who can come up with the coolest spirit safes. Of course, after the stills, we come off about 130 proof. We're going to pump it next door where we're able to add RO water. We like to get down to 120 proof before going into the barrels.
So y'all going at 120?
We're going at 120 right now. Probably will experiment with that. As a single barrel company, we get to have some fun with the barrel.
Yeah.
Right?
I like the low entry proof stuff. Like I think that really does well, like Hard Truth and Michter's and Detling, they all.
I enjoy doing the low proof, so I'm excited to do a couple.
It'd be good to see both, right?
Yep.
See,
well, and especially because we've got a 7-story rick house, so a traditional rick house.
Nice.
I haven't dealt with one of those in a really long time, so I'm excited to learn. Almost relearn that type of aging, and I think that's where the different proofs will come in.
Right on.
And right now, every barrel we are using for our new fill is going to be a number 4 char.
Okay.
But again,
Kelvin, ISCs, what are y'all?
ISC.
Okay.
We'll probably fold in some other ones just for fun. start with Old Route 8.
Right.
Typically always, go with proof, or age more so than proof. We also happen to be going in order of proof, lowest to highest as well.
Oh my goodness.
So
that's so good.
that works out.
That is so good. My goodness.
That's the one negative about only doing single barrel.
I know.
I never know what it's going to taste like.
Well,
Like, which barrel is this one?
Like that's the thing. Like I would want.
It's the fun part. It is fun.
I would want to take that particular bottle home. Like a buddy of mine, I got an old Zach for him, and it was supposedly buff turkey, and he said, "Dude, try it. Like, open it up, try it, and let me know." He said, "I'm afraid that I really screwed the pooch on this one. Like, I paid a lot of money for this bottle, right?" So I popped it. I did a video for it, and I was like, "I'll go get you another bottle. You won't get this one. I know that they're probably the same barrel, but I don't know that.
Can't risk it."
Yeah, I want this bottle. I did the same thing with a vacuum salesman one time. He came by with a Kirby vacuum, and it really showed out. We had a rainbow at the time, and it killed that rainbow. And he was like, "So what do you think?" I was like, "I'll buy that vacuum at a discount because it's used, but I want that one because I don't know that you didn't do something to soup it up, right?" Like,
yeah, that's true.
Don't go get me another one out of the car that may
I
not
wouldn't
be
have
as
thought of
good.
it that way.
Yeah. Oh, he had to call like upper level management. It took like half a day for him to get the sale done. But
I love it. That's fantastic.
no, that's fantastic right there. My goodness gracious.
Yep. So everything that we have in bottles right now are all rye bourbon. We don't have any wheated outside of the thieving experience.
Okay.
And all of ours are high corn, so we're going to be 70% and above on corn.
So sweet.
And then the rye, because I don't even try to memorize the mash bills because we have so many of them. I think the lowest we've ever done was an 8% rye, but we've seen as high as 20%. Of course, that's what we're making back there now, too. All right, now we're moving on to Buckner's 10. So Buckner's is kind of what we consider our more premium lineup. So it's the 10, 13, 15, and 17. This particular barrel is 121.2 proof. And we named it Buckners after the gentleman who basically gave up his land grant, or part of his land grant, to found the town of Augusta. Philip Buckner, he was a Revolutionary War sergeant, commander, lieutenant, something. He was an officer. And back then, you would get land grants after your service. And so he actually gave some of his land grants so that we could found Augusta, or really it was the trading post of Augusta that then became the town of Augusta. So that's where Buckner came from.
That's my jam too. It's real nutty. Like I don't know why I love that with the Jim Beams and the ones that put that.
You like a little nutty?
I do. I get picked on.
The question is, what kind of nut are we talking about?
For me, it doesn't
that's the
matter,
fun
but yeah, typically I like something creamier like a cashew, right? Like, but I'm not opposed to like
you don't discriminate against any of the nuts.
Like the broad branch, I get tons of pecan on that, but I love it. So, and I'm not against the peanut either, but
yeah. That's awesome. I always like doing that.
Like a bitter black walnut kind of thing. That's not
as big of a fan.
Yeah.
I love in tasting. Someone's like, "Oh, it tastes, it's floral." Well, what kind of flower?
Right.
Let's dive deeper into
this. Let's be real specific here.
If you can, sometimes you can't. Sometimes
I'm terrible about I can't get too deep.
Well, and sometimes the note is just generic.
True.
That you can't dive deeper into it. What do they say? Is it 75 or 80% of what you taste actually comes from
your smells.
Smell. That's why if you're a kid and you don't want to eat peas.
That's right. When taking medicine.
And it works.
It does.
It really does work.
Mutes it down pretty good.
All right. Here we go. It's kind of the start of the show. It's probably not fair to say that.
Where's the Buckner 17?
So
Matt said you would have it here. You promised Matt that she'd have it here. You said it. It's the only reason I drove 8 hours here.
Oh, yeah. 17 did not last long. But we also didn't have a lot to start with.
You said 20 barrels?
It was less than 20. I want to say it was actually 12. And we bottled those up. It would have been like June of 24. So
see, that gets closer to some of the notes that I pick up on, like George T. Stagg.
And that one is a hot. It's a big hitter at 41, 44.
It doesn't drink that hot though.
No, we had a ton.
How is that? Like, what causes some things to be so ethanol forward, and then some just to be flavor bombs? And then you can have a Michter's at 108 barrel strength that's true.
Yeah, you can have a 108 that lights you up, or be a flavor bomb.
No, that's true. Though some can be low proof and just super high ethanol.
It still gets you. Yeah. It really just comes down to the barrel chemistry and what happens in the barrel. And while we think we can sometimes predict it, we can't always. Humidity plays a factor. Temperature plays a factor. Even just the compounds that were present in that wood. You know, how was
True.
it charred? Was it an even char? Hopefully it was.
That's a heavy hitter right there. And I've got one at home, and I don't know that I might not have to leave with another today. But the thing is, I feel like I probably need each one of those, and I probably have each one of those. Maybe not specifically, but
Ooh, that is a good barrel. That's the problem. When you taste over 150 of the same age, you kind of forget about some of them. So it's fun to revisit.
that is a monster right there.
But like you said though, for 144, like you can tell it's got proof.
It's definitely proof.
It's there,
yeah.
but it's not.
You know, most people that don't have the knowledge of drinking whiskey and experiencing the different proofs would just run from that because they're like, you're just going to burn my esophagus up. Like I'm not. And while there is hug there, I absolutely can't deny that. It's not just like, you don't have to get past that to find the flavor. The flavor's shining through.
Right out of the gate, the flavor is there. And the thing is, I kind of want the hug no matter what the proof is.
I want to know I'm drinking whiskey.
But
I don't want to drink a flat
if
soda.
it is 144, I really want the hug.
Right, yeah.
I don't want it to taste watered down. I want to know it's there.
Amen. I think that's the biggest thing that surprised me about what you said today. I didn't know that you guys were doing single barrels, cask strength, and that you may flirt with barrel entry proof here and there too.
Yeah, we like to call it bourbon uncompromised.
That's the way I think it should be.
Never dilute it, so cask strength. Never blend it, single barrel, and always unique, which also goes to being single barrel.
Yeah.
And
Seth
we're
Dentley might be
unique
your
in
biggest
embracing
fan.
that. I love it. It's so much fun, and yeah, because we're a single barrel, I do think we can have fun with barrel entry proof. And
So, in your experience, this is a question that I asked Nancy. She hadn't answered me yet because Tiffany and I kind of go back and forth on it. Don't bastardize my whiskey, right? You can put water in the distillate and throw it in the barrel. I couldn't care less about that. I think that's even beneficial.
Right.
Don't add a drop of water to my whiskey on the backside. And she's like, you're really missing it. Adding a drop here or putting ice in it or then proofing down whiskey can really bring out more flavors. And so is that true? Is there a reason to do that?
It is absolutely true. The rule of thumb when doing quality control or analysis is you actually proof everything down to 40 proof.
Okay.
So 20% ABV, because that gets rid of all the alcohol, right? Alcohol can absolutely cover things. It can mute them, mask them. And it's really, really critical when you're just making sure there's not a bad thing about the bourbon. That's when proofing down so much is super critical and helps. And the way I was taught to drink bourbon, I was at Town Branch Bourbon. It wasn't Town Branch at the time, but I was being trained by a man named Terry Coburn. He was a retired distiller from Scotland. And he took me to Woodford because he wanted to visit his stills because he used to work for Forsyth, so he had to go visit the stills. And so he taught me how he drinks his whiskey. And the way he did it is they'd pour it for him, sip half of it, just straight, neat.
Okay.
Then take water, preferably RO water, distilled water, bottled water, just not tap water, and basically replace the volume you just consumed with water. So basically just cut it in half.
Right. If you had an ounce, then drink half an ounce and put a half ounce of water in
Yep.
it. It's 50-50 at that point.
Enjoy that.
Okay.
See what it does, because it will open it up. Then you only drink about half of that, add a cube, and experience that. And that's how you can determine how best to enjoy that specific whiskey. Because the way you drink this one may not be how you best enjoy this one. And you don't know it until you actually give it a shot.
And I've experienced that once. So Kane and I just picked the ASW Maple Weeder, and I'm not a huge fan of finishes. There are some that I really like. If the finish helps the whiskey, then but I don't want it to be a total finish and then some whiskey, right? Let the whiskey shine through.
A lot of people finish
It has to
because they're
complement.
covering up
For sure.
bad whiskey.
So I poured the maple, I tried it, and I was like, oh my God, I love this. And when we picked it, we found the one, and then I got the bottle. And so I tried it, I was like, holy cow, it's great, we love it. So I was like, Heather, you're gonna love this. So I poured it on ice, I let it sit, a little melt, right? And I was like, babe, try that. So she tried it, she's like, it's still just, she's just not there. I probably need to try her on cocktails with minimal amount and then work her up. But anyway, I tried the glass after she got done. I was like, I'll crush that entire bottle on a cube of ice. And I don't like my whiskey typically on ice, but you're right.
Every whiskey is enjoyed differently.
Is that an experiment that you'd want to do right now? Like with a whiskey,
If I
for
actually
us to
had
play with
ice, I would, but I don't.
Can we play with one with some water and just kind of see?
Yeah. right, so we'll do this with the 10.
All
That
right,
way
so-
it's a slightly higher proof.
So we're gonna take the 10 and we're gonna play with it with some water and just see what we think,
Yep.
right?
Yep, and that's 100% why we have little
water there.
eyedroppers.
And so that's the other thing, like, does it take a good bit of water per ounce of whiskey to proof it down to the point where you were talking about being 40 proof, the 20 ABV?
It
and
is
I
a-
know that's circumstantial to each whiskey, like this 144 proof, right?
It's going to take a heck of a lot more
a
water,
lot
right?
of water, yeah.
Yep. Well, and that's why there's a super, super simple calculation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's something you learn in high school chemistry. Concentration 1 times volume 1 is equal to concentration 2 times volume 2.
Okay.
And you solve for whichever one you don't know. Or like in this instance, we know our starting proof, so starting concentration. We know the ending concentration we want, 40 proof.
Right.
We know, I want to prepare enough for 4 people, so that's my volume 2. I want each person to have half an ounce, so call it 2 ounces. Then you solve for that starting volume.
Okay.
So how much of it straight out of the bottle do I need? And then I add water to get to the final volume.
I like it.
Super simple calculation.
So X is just the water.
Yep.
I like it.
All right, so that is the 10-year straight out of the bottle, so 121.2 proof. Really, I would do, maybe not quite, double your volume, but I would do probably 5 or 6 drops.
Okay.
One drop with that volume of bourbon you're not really gonna.
Yeah, at 120 proof, right?
Yeah, you're not really gonna get a whole lot from it. And it's always good to start slow with your water because you can add more water.
You can't take it away.
You can't take it away. Once it's in there, it is in there for good. And I like to say part of the reason we like single barrel cask strength is because I think whiskey is a journey.
I agree.
And you get to decide what that journey looks like.
It gives you room, right?
By
to
doing it
manipulate
cask strength, you get to do what you want to do to it. Whereas if I proof it down to 80, well, I just made the decision for you.
Exactly right.
And you may not like it.
I 100% agree with that. Alex, thank you so much for today. I mean, a lot of education for me. I had no idea what you guys were doing. I think you may have just become my new favorite distillery.
Glad to
the
hear
fact
it.
that you guys are going to be doing single barrels in 7 years, cask strength, non-chill filtered, like, say less. Just take no money.
Thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely.
I love showing off our little town and our distillery, and it's been fun.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.